All right, peace, y'all. It's Paul, also known as Paulie Rhyme. It's winter time in Japan. We are in the last week of school. And so, like I said, we're doing some content from an artist standpoint, from an educator standpoint, and from a parent standpoint. There's obviously going to be some overlap. So make sure you check out the artist section. Make sure you check out the educator section. And this is the parent section. And so the first thing I would like to talk about, and this is not the only conversation we're going to have on this, but just the beginning. So if you have questions or there are things that you think that are missing that we should talk about next time, feel free to, leave a comment, hit me up on the DM, what have you. So just to give a little bit of a background quickly, if you didn't see the other segments, my wife is from Japan. We live in her hometown. We moved here about 8 or 9 years ago. I'm a teacher as well as an artist. I perform under the name of Paulie Rhyme. And as a parent, we have one kid. Her name is Maya. She is now a teenager in a Japanese public school where she goes for 3 days out of the week. And then 2 days out of the week, she homeschools through Greenway, which is an online program from the States. And she has aspirations of going to college or going back to the States. And so we decided to do this hybrid program because we also wanted her to still have an experience in Japan. She lives in Japan. She has friends. She's been going to Japanese school since she moved here. Before that, she was at a preschool where I was working, not in the preschool, I was working in the middle school in San Francisco called Children's Day School. So when we moved here, we moved her right into Japanese school. We wanted her to learn Japanese. Her mother's Japanese. And so we had her in a Saturday school in the Bay Area, a Japanese school, but she was learning and it was fun, but she couldn't really speak. And so when it was time for her to go to elementary school, and we had always talked about moving out of the United States, whether that was South Africa or Spain, or finally we decided to move back to Japan to be closer to family and also to give Maya that experience. But like I said, Maya wants to go back to the States at some point. She really, I would say that it's been overall a positive experience for her, but she does feel an affinity to being in the States. So yeah, we are trying to provide her with opportunities to do that as parents always. And so we could talk more about how our house is set up so that she can be bilingual, and from the beginning when she was born, how we did that. The thing I wanted to talk about today, as we are moving into break time and we've had this first year of being in middle school, there are some things that I have noticed, not only for her being in middle school, but also her being in homeschool. And I think that it's valid in the conversation. So, like I said, she goes to school 3 days, and then 2 days she's at home. And so if you do decide to homeschool, just know that you can do both if you have the time. So we have an English school. We work down the street from the house. Maya's able to come, stay home, work during the daytime or morning time. We take a break. Lunchtime, then we go to our school, and then she's able to work at a desk and for a couple hours. So she's able to really still get a full day of school, and then she does kind of homework and works through things during the week. And then on Saturdays, we have a Saturday school, American school, that we do for advanced students. And then Maya's also able to work at that time if she needs to. And we are pretty flexible with when she works. We are just kind of going through her. So this is our second year doing this. So we go off of how well she works. She has some good weeks. She has some bad weeks. She has some weeks where we need to motivate her a little bit more. and doing homeschool, and some weeks where she's just killing it. She's like, bam, 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 man, I got it. I'm doing it. I'm doing my math. I'm doing it. So she takes 4 classes. She takes a science class, a social studies class, English class, and a science. Or did I say that? Science, math, social studies, English. And so because she is first year, which is like 7th grade in middle school, and then she's actually 8th grade in American school. So because of the way that the system is working, like September in the States versus April in Japan. So there is some overlap in that. So be conscious of that what she's learning now kind of jumps up versus what she's learning in Japan, because it's like this, which we were already aware of, and we actually started homeschooling in 6th grade. So she got a chance to do that. And yeah, it's been pretty positive. There are some times where we have to take more time off, or some days, like this week, she has half days. So she's going to her public school all week because it's the last week. And there are times where she wants to participate in different activities. So we are flexible with that. And then as far as support, Itoko helps her in the subjects that she is good at when we're talking about Japanese public school, and also in homeschool. And then I help her based on the subjects that I'm good at. So it is really a team effort. And so you, as parents, want to make sure that you have time and you are committed to that. Regardless, I would say that Maya is pretty bright. And any kid who can do 2 programs at once is dedicated on their own. So there's a certain amount of things that Maya is dedicated to. She really wants to do it. She's motivated. So you do need that. You don't want to force a kid into a situation where they're doing 2 schools and they're overwhelmed. And some people might want to go homeschool completely, which we are thinking about doing for when she goes to high school. And we think and she's really into homeschool, and she feels like she's learning more at homeschool. And that's something that you will have to navigate, where kids might feel, oh, Japanese school is where I am really thriving, I'm learning, I love it. And at homeschool, there might not be an option. Or you might have the opposite, where homeschool is a place where the kid feels like they're learning and they're doing things and they're really reaching their goals. And you have to make a decision if you want to go full-time homeschool. There are some programs out there where they're a little bit looser and you can do your own curriculum. I kind of take the lead on this for obvious reasons, but we as a family decided that we wanted her to do more of a hybrid program, an international program, if you will. So we do those 4 classes, and then the school counts what she's doing in Japanese school as far as PE, Japanese, and the other subjects as her having a full schedule. And for us, that's a great program. So look into that. I'll leave some information below, or hit me up if you want some direct information. And, we've had a pretty positive experience thus far with it. I think it's possible. I think when I was working at international school, I didn't know it was possible. And so we can talk a little bit more about that, how international schools have navigated this, and I wouldn't say exploited people, but they use this idea that, oh, you need to go to this type of program, you need to do this type of thing to build their clientele. When in fact, if your situation is similar to ours, or if you have a parent who has time to support the kid, or tutoring situation, whatever you can provide in their support for the kid, homeschool or a hybrid program may be a better option. And really, again, it's about the kid. So, think about that when you are trying to make that decision. They will obviously need their own computer. So Maya has her own computer. She does have her own room too. So she has her desk in her room, so she's able to work. We primarily work in the kitchen or dining room area, just so that if she needs some immediate support, she can do it. And then again, we have our own English schools. So then from some days she goes directly to the English school. We work there if we feel like we need a different environment, or we work at the house. So if you live in an apartment or you live in a different situation with family, that may not be feasible. So you have to just make sure the kid has a space that they're able to be focused and work and have time. I would say at least 12 hours a week. If I had to put a time on it, 12 to 20. So they need 2 to 3 days, and this is for 4 classes that Maya's doing. Middle school. Elementary school is a little bit different. Maybe they'll need less or more. It just really depends on the kid. But that means that you as a parent or tutoring situation or whatever also need to think about dedicating that time. And so, yeah, so anyone, if you have questions, let me know. I'm going to keep these conversations in chunks. So like, subscribe, hit me with a comment. We can make a part 2 to the homeschooling situation. I do want to talk about her experience in Yo-Chin, what the difference is with that at some point. Do want to talk about her experience in elementary school, and also talk about how we've been able to, build community with other parents and things that we try to do for Maya to make sure that she feels like she's in a good place. She's chasing her dreams, and we are supporting her. So yeah, we're going to stop right there. So thank y'all for tuning in if you've been here that whole time. Also, like I said, check out the artist segment and the educator segment. And look forward to the next one. Peace.